Hi, Claire. Hey, welcome to the webinar. Hi, Kathy. Welcome to our webinar. Doesn't look like Kathy has access to her audio, but hey, Kathy, we can hear you. We're just waiting 1 minute here and we're going to get started. Hopefully you can hear us. Hi, Claire. Hey, welcome to the webinar.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for being here. Good. So, hey, everybody. So we're going to be, I'm Barry Kazire. This is Edwin Dearborn. I don't know if you know me or not, but basically I've done thousands of talks with public on small marketing to small businesses across the country. I've been doing this for a long time, helping people with marketing services. I'm certified in a number of areas, including constant contact. And I've got a team that I run. I run our team where we do social media, we do email marketing, we help people with podcasts, we help get them onto podcasts, we build websites for people, all of those things. And I'm here with my partner, Edwin Dearborn, and I'll let Ed tell you a little bit about himself.
Been a digital marketing enthusiast, basically when Facebook, YouTube, and all that stuff really started to break ground in 2006. I've written a couple of books on the subject, and like Barry, I've done a lot of public speaking in virtual events and live events on the subject of digital marketing and branding, specifically how to take your brand to the world with video and social platforms.
Fantastic. Great. So good. So yeah, there you go. That's us. And we're going to be talking about word of mouth and word of mouth marketing. And we're going to talk about specifically from this article that that was written by Ed called The Word of Mouth Triangle. And we're going to go over this article, which you can get. You can reach out to me, email me, and we'll send you a copy of that. And you know my email because that's how you got here to this webinar. So you send me one. But basically, there's a word of mouth. There's triangle that actually exists. It exists at 3 different things. One is an acceptable product and service. 2 is opinion leaders and influencers, which includes a whole range of things. Everything from YouTube influencers to people who run podcasts, to people who have connections to a lot of people in a particular industry, to people who service the same industry as you. There can be a lot of different opinion leaders and influencers that are in that batch of people. And then there's publicity, which is basically getting yourself known one way or another through various promotional actions that you could do, which could encompass both PR and could encompass everything from that to Facebook advertising. But it all starts with acceptable product or service. I mean, people want something wonderful, right? I mean, hopefully you're a beef eater. You're looking here at a big burger. If you're a vegetarian, that's an unacceptable product or service. But if you like hamburgers, then we're in business, right? But the point is, which I'm sure you understand, that in order to have, you have to have an acceptable product. And even better than that, you have to have a product that's not only liked, but solves a problem for people that they love, that they're extremely interested in, that actually gets them talking about it. As Ed has said, he's mentioned the word remarkable. You want a product that's actually remarkable so that people actually talk about the product after they mark, you might say, about the product, talk about it again after they've used it the first time. So it's got to be way up there. I mean, the better you are the more acceptable you are to the point of being remarkable, the more likely you are to have people talk about it. And this is really where it starts with regards to your word of mouth. It dovetails into your customer service, obviously the results that you get, tons of different pieces of your business filter and add up to this thing called an acceptable product and service. Ed, you want to chime in about this?
Well, one of the things I really want to accentuate on all 3 points is that there's a scale to everything. So, example on acceptable product. We all know that McDonald's is not necessarily the best hamburger in the world, nor do they make the best coffee. But to millions and millions of people, it's very acceptable. It's what they love. So the reason I used acceptable is because in no matter what you do or sell, there's always somebody that will accept that level of quality in, in some regard. So that's what I mean by acceptable product. So, you can be all the way from McDonald's to, to my kids, the only acceptable burger is In-N-Out. That's their most favorite. So they think that that's remarkable for them. But for other people, it may be McDonald's. One of the things that I stress to people is if you really want to get good at word of mouth marketing, the very first thing you have to look at is the quality of your product and service. Otherwise, if it's a bad product, a poor service, no one's going to remark. And if they do remark about your poor service, it's going to be in the form of a 1-star review or a nasty comment on Facebook. Maybe even they write a blog about you or do a video and joke about you, and you start to get bad word of mouth. And that's because there was something unacceptable about your product or service. If we add advertising to a bad service, all we're going to do is expose more people to your bad service, and that's just going to do you in. And no marketing can really save you if your product is not good. So when we work with a brand, the first thing we would ask you is like, okay, if we're going to build word of mouth, let's really take a look at the user's experience. When they walk in, is the hamburger place clean? Are the people friendly? Do they get their food rapidly? Is the food nice and hot and does it look good? Is it, is the presentation? Everybody in the restaurant business will tell you that people eat with their eyes. If the food is well presented, if it's well tabled, that's where the journey begins in terms of the user experience. So we take a look at those things, and yes, that is the job of a marketing person, is to look and fix the quality of the product or service. So traditionally, most marketers don't look at that. They just go, okay, how can I get more people to buy the burger? But if it's a bad burger or the service is bad at the restaurant, the burger, we're not going to get a word of mouth campaign to roll.
There you go. All right, awesome. Good. So the next piece of this triangle is opinion leaders and influencers. So this is basically you tapping into people who can influence others. This could be people with, and it's not, Ed mentions here, it's not just Instagram models with millions of followers. We've actually got people in much smaller niches that influence little areas, right? You might have somebody who is the opinion leader for a key customer that's an influencer for you. But you can also have people that are important people who maybe they only have 1,000 people that really listen to them. That's extremely, it might be a very important audience for you specifically. Like we have one client who just developed a relationship with someone who helps his clients to hurdle a particular obstacle. And it's a great service that they can actually help each other with. They both influence a certain audience, and they both can help each other with those people that they influence. You can also go into using people that have podcasts in your particular niche and promoting to them. You could use YouTubers, bloggers, all sorts of people that have they may have a group of people that listen to them. And if you tap into their network and develop a relationship with them, I mean, it could be pretty amazing. Another way that this can be used is the joint venture, Whereas you do a joint venture with a group of individuals, or maybe with a particular individual, right, or a particular business, where possibly you do a webinar together. You team up and you do a webinar on something, or you have some sort of service offering that you do together. And each of them have their own audiences that they're influencing, and as a result, you've got twice the audience. It's pretty amazing stuff. So yeah, so Ed, thoughts on this?
Yeah, one of the things that we've learned over the years about word of mouth is that most businesses do not consider word of mouth to be proactive. It's one of those, well, I just get good word of mouth because I'm a good person, but I don't do anything to instigate or inspire it or somehow light a match and get it going. And once you've fixed your service, or let's say you already have a good service, or we've resolved maybe some issues with your service, we are still tribal. And thousands of years ago, tens of thousands of years ago, after the hunt, the hunters would come back and they would do these dances around the fire to tell the rest of the tribe how amazing they were and how intriguing it was to be on the hunt. And everybody had more appreciation for the hunters because they told a great story. We now, with the electronic means of Instagram, Yelp reviews, Google reviews, it's the same tribal instincts. We're just now have a modern take on it, which is, how do we get people who have a tribe, and that tribe they may only be what's referred to as a micro influencer. They may only have 500 people that they're connected with on social media, but those 500 people have a deep amount of trust in that person. And they may be an Instagram model with 1 million followers, and you have people in between. But how do we get people engaged? As Jay Baer would call it, we have to give them talk triggers. What are the triggers that will get them to talk about your brand? Now, when you proactively build those talk triggers into your marketing strategy, now you instigate, you inspire, you give people reasons to talk about your brand. And some of these talk triggers and these sources of inspiration can be very, very simple. But if you don't have that proactively built into your marketing, you just kind of sit there at effect, kind of hoping it happens on its own. Well, you and I know that if your business is built on just hope that it happens, you're leaving not only a lot of money on the table, you're also leaving your fates to the winds. And then a coronavirus hits, you don't have a strong audience, you don't have a deep relationship with opinion leaders and influencers, and then you go by the wayside. Those brands that were able to lean into this coronavirus and all the shutdowns, they had a strong network and they were able to lean on that. We as virtual chief marketing officers, we take a very proactive, causative approach, and we go, how can we build these talk triggers? How can we tap into influencers? And I want to give you just one example of what we did with one of my first clients. We knew that people that are active on Yelp tend to be very active on Yelp. They're Yelpers. And every time somebody found their brand on Yelp, we knew that if they left a review, that it would influence other Yelpers. So we asked the person, well, how did you find out about us? That's a common question in business. They'd say, I found you on Yelp. And they go, great. So once the good service was delivered, we go, how was our service? And they would tell, oh, you guys were great. You were fast. You did everything you said you did. Great. Would you be willing to say that on Yelp? So we knew that they were a Yelper, and we found out their good experience, point number one. And then we asked them, as an opinion leader, would you be willing to say those exact words that you just said in person? Could you say that on Yelp? Okay. So we kept doing that. because we wanted Yelpers to Yelp. Within 2 years, we got it up to 140 people left positive reviews on Yelp. When we did an analysis of how much revenue those Yelpers created by other people finding them on Yelp, they had generated over $400,000 that year from people finding them on Yelp, meaning positive review was worth $3,000 per year in revenue. I want you to get that. Every positive review was worth $3,000 in annual revenue for this brand. That is the power of opinion leaders and influencers when you really understand it. We built talk triggers. We proactively went after Yelpers. We got Yelpers to go after more Yelpers. And that's just Yelp. We can do that with Google. We can do that with Instagram, podcasts. The point is people influence others, and that's how we know that we can create more word of mouth with them.
It's awesome. That's great. Yeah, one of the things we just picked up a client who we're going to be working for. Well, we just lined up 20 podcasts for a gentleman who, I don't know if you know who John Truman Wolf is, Bruce Wiseman. You can check him out online. But we just lined him up with 20 podcasts where he's promoting his new financial newsletter. And that's going to result in a lot of, those people are going to be sending his message out to all of their listeners. That's a lot of people that he's being exposed to. And we're doing the same thing for another author who's written a book that specifically deals with mold in homes. And we're going to be getting him out to 100 podcasts, where he's going to do an interview on over 100 podcasts over the next year. That's pretty tremendous. I mean, as far as the amount of exposure he's going to get to different people's audiences. And basically by having him on the show, they're saying, we recommend this guy, so it's pretty exciting. So yeah, so it's a great area. It's a fantastically important piece of this triangle. So the final piece here is publicity. And this is a great quote that Ed grabbed, is that publicity is absolutely critical. A good PR story is infinitely more effective than a front page ad. And yeah, so publicity is basically, there's a great book that Ed and I both would recommend to you called The New Rules of Marketing and PR. And getting the word out and being your own publicist is really vital these days. You have to write blogs and put them out on your website. You have to record YouTube videos, or however it is you can put content out there. You've got to put content and share your knowledge. The big thing is just sharing your knowledge and sharing your expertise and sharing those tips and commonly asked questions and getting them out via email, getting them on your blog. If you can get in front of a camera, getting them on YouTube is fantastic. And finding other ways to promote and get the word out on you. And it just really kind of points up why this is a triangle, because this is going to add to the fact that you have a great product, the fact that you have great publicity, or that you have influencers that you're on there, and then you publicize these facts, and you just keep adding to each section of this triangle, and it really does add up to word of mouth.
Absolutely. I think the important thing, when we say publicity, people get overwhelmed with the idea. They think it's, I need a publicist. It's being on major news. Look, YouTube has more viewers per day than all major news networks combined. You take CNN, Fox News, BBC, MSNBC, you put all of them together, all of their metrics together, and YouTube beats them all. Why is that? Because YouTube is free. YouTube allows me to select the news I want to consume. I can pick the influencers I want to read from. I don't have to be force-fed this content. Now, Forbes magazine, one of the leading business magazines in the world, said last year, content marketing is the new PR. So when you create a podcast show or you write blogs, that's publicity. You are now becoming the media. So, traditionally we would wait for radio to do our media. Well, podcasts are the new radio. We would wait for television stations to cover our story. Now we can become the television station by going on YouTube. And the better you craft that show, the better you become at the publicity game. Now, granted, I agree that it can be overwhelming. What should I talk about? What kind of show should I do? Well, as virtual chief marketing officers, we help brands navigate that complexity. I just want to give you've probably heard of Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd have to be hiding under a rock if you haven't heard about Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was discovered by publishing his songs on YouTube. There was a marketing, I remember, because I saw the person who discovered him at the 10X conference in February of this year, when I went there to see Grant Cardone and all the other speakers. And I forget the gentleman's name, but the guy who discovered Justin Bieber discovered him on YouTube because Justin Bieber was putting his music on YouTube videos. See, Justin took his own songs and realized that, okay, I don't have access to the media, so I will become the media. I'll put my songs on. Somebody found him, they signed him, and now he's a multi-millionaire, one of the top recording artists on the planet. He embraced content creation on YouTube, saw that it was the new Hollywood, which YouTube is, and voila. Or let's take a look at Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan started a podcast. He would video the podcast. 5 years ago, it wasn't making a lot of money. It was just one of these things like, I'll just start a podcast because I want to. Spotify last year paid him $100 million because Joe Rogan embraced the idea, I'll become my own media. I'll become my publicist. I'll start my YouTube series. And it became so many people that Spotify was like, hey, if you make your podcasts and videos exclusive to us, we'll pay you $100 million. Now, you may not become the next Justin Bieber. You may not become the next Joe Rogan, but within your own sphere, okay, maybe you don't make $100 million. Maybe you make $250,000 because of your publicity. Maybe you only become a millionaire. Maybe you only get 100 new customers. I would take 100 new customers as a result of my publicity. Barry, would you refuse 100 new customers?
No, I'd gladly accept those.
Exactly. And I'm sure everybody listening to this right now or in the future would be, yeah, I don't need to become a Justin Bieber. 100 more new customers. If that's all I got as a result of my publicity, that would be a major success story for most small business people, solopreneurs, and entrepreneurs. So let's not, yes, we can celebrate the huge examples, but in our own way, at our own scale, the principles still apply.
Absolutely. All right, fantastic. Well, good. So then, Ted, tell us how do these things complement each other?
Well, think about it. The better your service, the easier it is to do publicity for it. The better your service and product, people will be, and you put those talk triggers, you just get more influencers coming in, then they tell more people, and then those more people get better service, and then you ask them if you can interview them on your blog or your YouTube show. Think about it. I deliver a really, really good product. We've done that with Mr. Truman Wolf, right? He went out there and he took his publicity, his own email list, and as an influencer, he sent out a piece of content about us.
That's right.
And guess what happened? We got about 5 referrals from it. Those 5 people now receive our acceptable product and service. They too are probably influencers and opinion leaders to some degree. Then we deliver the result to them. Then we ask them if they could post about us on Facebook, give us some publicity, interview them on Growth Driven. You see how it just feeds one into the other, which then creates even more opportunities to service more opinion leaders and more influencers.
Right.
But I want to really stress this point. If you put your word of mouth marketing on the back burner, or you treat this as something to get to when you have some time for it, then you're not going to grow your business. There's a lot of competition out there these days. There's a lot of noise out there these days. You've got to put this at the front and center of your growth. If you're not actively driving your growth, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So, this is the service we provide. This is our acceptable product or service. We would like to put you in a better light through better publicity, the way it's done today, and have you connect with more opinion leaders and influencers, which in turn brings more people to your acceptable product and service. And if we can get that wheel spinning for you more and more and more, you're going to access more people. You're going to have more eyeballs on your website, more eyeballs on your brand, and thus you're going to eventually convert more people into paying customers and make more money.
Perfect. Okay, great. Well, good. So here's where you can actually reach out to us, and actually here's where you can get a copy of this article. Down at the bottom of this page, this is our virtual CMO.expert. You can just virtual CMO.expert, Chief Marketing Officer. So, and this article will really tell you exactly what it is we do for people as virtual CMOs. Down at the bottom of the article, you can actually get, you can just download a copy of the word of mouth triangle. And then there's some other opportunities where you could, connect up with us if you like for a consultation or an interview directly through this website. So, but we highly recommend you go through and read this and find out all about the virtual CMO services that we offer. And again, it's at virtualcmo.expert. Good. Ed, anything else to add in closing?
Yeah, become a student of marketing. Watch videos, read books, partner with people that are like ourselves, that are marketing mavens. Like, we live this purpose. We love, like I personally, and I know Barry, I can speak for you as well, these subjects excite us. We wake up with enthusiasm every morning and every day talking about this, and we are not perfect at it, but we are students always growing and learning and becoming better and better and better. And we're looking for ambitious brands that really want to take advantage of all the amazing opportunities that this world has to offer with digital media. And so if that's you, please reach out to us. We'd love to work with you.
Great. All right, fantastic. All right, well, thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. And yeah, and we'll look forward to seeing and hearing from you. Reach out to us.
Have a good day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.